everyone, I'm here today with the first impressions of a new foundation from Mercier. It's their Smooth Finish Flawless Fluid Foundation, and this is supposed to be a long wearing matte foundation. I'll read you Sephora's description of it. It says a 12-hour wear, oil-free, that blurs the appearance of imperfections for smoother looking complexion, and it's supposed to leave the skin with a natural looking matte finish, works with all skin types, visibly evening skin tone, minimizing the appearance of pores. Fused with Hydro Brilliant technology, featuring reflective waters and natural silica that create brilliant color true shades. It's humidity proof, sweat proof, water resistant for longer carefree wear. So all sorts of claims. I'm wearing it today. Okay, so the first shade I got is Kassie E, and this is described as a light with neutral, slightly warm undertones. Now, in the demo, you'll see this is what I start out with. This matches my untanned skin on my face perfectly. So I'm probably going to return this and go for the shade darker than the next one that I got, because this is a perfect untanned shade, and I frequently am self-tanning, so it's very rare that I'll need something that is the exact color of my untanned skin, but that is Kassie E, so they do run pretty light in my opinion. Okay, the next color I got is Honey, and that's described as a light medium with neutral and slightly warm undertones. So I like to go I'm pretty neutral. I don't like to go too cool tone because I feel it's just too pink on my skin and it just kind of looks like I'm wearing a mask. And I don't like to go too yellow, but I like to stay kind of neutral warm. If I'm going to go up to the next shade, it's called Praline, which is medium with neutral undertones. So I might return Kassie E and exchange it for Praline, because this Honey was actually okay. It's what I'm wearing today, but I have kind of a worn off self tan, so they do run pretty light. Just keep that in mind. So I put that on today. It retails for $48. You get 1 fluid ounce. I'm going to tell you right now, the packaging is super messy. You shake it up before you use it, but every time you pop the top off, the little squirt part, where it comes out, there's stuff all over all the time. It was like that when I first bought it. Both of them were like that when I first bought it too. So they are quite messy. I do 2 different types of application. It does say that you can use it with the Mercier sponge. So I just used a damp beauty blender. That applied it okay, but I found it soaked up a lot of product. So then I just went in with my fingers and liked the coverage and the finish better. So once I kind of smoothed it in with the with my fingers, then I kind of just went in with the beauty blender and kind of smoothed it out. So I'm wearing it today. I don't have any powder. It's very, very matte, as you can see. There's no powder on my face, but I love so far the finish on it. I've had it on for close to 2 hours now, and yeah, I really like the finish. And so I'm gonna just kind of take you throughout the day of how it wears, and we'll see what I think at the end of the day. It says 12 hours, so we'll see. I don't know if I'll have it on for 12 hours because I think that will be 8 o'clock at night. I might do a follow-up at 12 hours. So anyways, if you want to see how this applies and how it wears throughout the day, then just stay tuned. Okay, so I have 2 colors here. I have Kassie E and Honey, and they both were the neutral skin tone. One was for light, and I think one was for light medium. So I do a lot of self-tanning. I don't know what shade I'm going to be, so I'm going to start off with Kassie E, and these are 1 fluid ounces. It says shake well, so it's very liquidy. You can hear it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Urban Decay Naked Skin. I'm going to shake it out. And the box also says to apply either with their, to apply with the sponge or with your fingers. I'm going to apply with the Beauty Blender. It says the Mercier sponge, but I'm going to use the Beauty Blender. And then it also says you can pair with your favorite primer from Mercier. I just happen to have this in one of my drawers, so I'm going to use just the regular foundation primer. You can use any primer you want, or no primer. My skin just kind of eats up foundation if I don't put some sort of primer on. So this is just their basic one. But feel free to, not use one. So again, this is in the color Kassie E, and this was the light, I think this one was neutral light. So it has a little twist cap, and it's, ooh, very messy already. There's product all over. So I'm not too thrilled about that, but that's okay. So it reminds me of the consistency of the Vita Lumiere Aqua by Chanel. It's quite runny, but it does have a little bit of, I don't know. It's a little creamy, but a little bit more runny. Not as runny as the serum from Perfume MD, but not quite as like creamy as a normal, maybe like liquid foundation would be. Okay, I might have to try out the honey shade. So this color seems to match like my non-self-tanned face pretty well. So I'm gonna bust out honey. Let's bust out honey and see if that's a little bit better. So my face obviously doesn't really have much tanner on it. It's quite pale compared to my neck. And let's try honey. Honey is a little bit darker. And this might be another one like the Perfume MD that you get a little bit better coverage if you use your fingers versus the Beauty Blender, because the Beauty Blender actually might be absorbing quite a bit of this product. But I really like the finish on it. I mean, it definitely looks like skin, like some of my natural skin's peeking through, but it's doing a good job of kind of just evening out my skin tone. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit so you can see the difference here. So this is the side with the foundation. It seems to set pretty quickly. It pretty much evened out my skin tone. You can see I have a little bit of redness on this side. The color's actually pretty good. I like the honey one. I think that one matches a little bit better, but it's very lightweight feeling on the skin. I like it, and it feels like skin. It doesn't feel like you have a bunch of product on your face. So, okay, since I kind of want this to be even, I'll put a tiny bit of cashew and then a tiny bit of honey on. Yeah, I'm not crazy about the packaging. You can see here it's like already getting messy, but that's okay. So this one is the cashew color, so it's a little bit lighter. I might try to apply this with my fingertips a little bit. Yeah, it's a nice matte. It goes on and sets pretty quick to a nice matte finish. Let me try this with my fingers with the honey. See if I get a little bit more coverage. So there's the honey shade. I'm getting used to applying foundation with my fingers. I don't love it, but I'm definitely getting more used to it. Okay, yeah, if you use your fingers, as much as I love the Beauty Blender, if you use your fingers, a lot more coverage. So the product goes a lot farther than it does with the Beauty Blender. So it's kind of another thing like the Perfume MD, that it's a beautiful, beautiful coverage. When you use your fingers, the product just goes better into the skin. It lasts longer. And so, yeah, I don't know, I really like it. And then maybe I'll just take my Beauty Blender and just kind of pat it out. So these seem to run pretty light. I mean, I'm not particularly dark. I'm not a super tan right now. And this honey shade, like I said, was the light medium, neutral light medium. So I don't know, I might return the cashew and go for the next shade up from honey. This will be a good like semi self-tan, and then have one for when I'm really self-tan, because this is quite light, the cashew color. But so far, I really like the finish of it. It's a nice matte finish. It feels like skin. Let me see what time it is right now. It's 8:39. So I'm going to finish up the rest of my face and, so I'm gonna finish up the rest of my face and then I'll check in a little bit. Okay, I'm here with the check-in. I've gotten ready, I've done my hair, finished my makeup. It's now 10:18. It is still, let me grab my mirror so I can actually see a little closer, very matte. But like a skin finish, but it looks very flawless. Like it looks like my skin is like super even tone, flawless, matte skin finish, not too matte to where you look flat. It's really easy to apply, definitely like it better applying it with my fingers. So I'm going to kind of go throughout my day and see how it wears. Like I said, I didn't set it with any powder. I didn't really feel the need to because it was already pretty matte. And it's supposed to be an okay day, kind of high 90s I think. So it's going to be hot. It says it's humidity proof and sweat proof and water resistant, so we shall see. So I'll check in a few hours and we'll see how it's holding up. Here for an update. It is now 2:28, so I've had this on since, what was it, 8 something this morning, so we're going on like 6 hours. and it's held up really nicely. It's a nice hot like mid-90s day. I've been running errands all day, and so far so good. My blush and bronzer is still there. Even wearing sunglasses, I noticed that it didn't really mess up my makeup. There's a lot of foundations that I'm sure a lot of you girls have the same problem, but there's a lot of foundations that when you wear your sunglasses, it gives you like those sunglass indentation marks and all your makeup rubs off. I have a tiny bit right here, but not nearly as bad as the majority of my foundation. So that is something that I look for in a foundation, something that's not gonna like rub off where my sunglasses are, which there's only one other foundation that hasn't done that, and that's the Perricone MD one. So far I love it. I didn't use any mattifier, which I usually use a mattifier with every single foundation that I use. There's a little tiny bit of like shininess I can notice right here, but other than that, it's like perfect. So far so good. We're like close to 6 hours in, and I will check back in a little bit and see how it's doing. Again, no powder, and the only primer I used is just their basic foundation primer. So, yep, I'll check in a little bit. All right, so I'm here to do a really quick follow-up. I filmed the first impressions of this, and I didn't film like a outro because one, it was really late at night, and two, I wanted to wear it a couple more times before filming that. So this is my 4th time wearing this. I really like this foundation. Definitely apply it with your fingers. You get so much more coverage with it. It applies so much better. It looks a lot less dry and cakey. I think it has the ability to look dry and cakey if you don't use your fingers. This is the shade Honey. I'm wearing it today. I have some self tanner on, and I would definitely go up another shade, but I think I'm just going to mix it with the Perricone MD. No bronzer for the days where I need it to be darker. When I'm semi self tan, Honey works quite well, so I think the shades run pretty light. It lasts all day. It doesn't get cakey. It doesn't get oily or shiny throughout the day. It's really, really nice. Downsides, I do not like the application of it, or the packaging. It's very messy. It spills all over the place. You get foundation all over this. It's not my favorite packaging. Now to compare it, because a lot of the comments on my Instagram asked how it compared to the Perricone MD, they're very different. They're similar as far as the consistency. It's like a serum-y type foundation. The Laura Mercier is definitely much more matte and fuller coverage than the Perricone MD. The Perricone MD to me just really feels and looks like skin. Wearing power, I would say, is pretty equal between the two. This one just has a little bit more coverage, is a little bit more buildable, and a little bit thicker in consistency than the serum. The serum is definitely much more of a true serum feeling, where this has a little bit of thickness to it. Both are absolutely amazing. It's going to be a preference. This obviously has a lot more shades, so if you're wanting something similar to the Perricone MD, but it only has one shade, I would definitely give this a shot if this didn't work for you shade range wise. It is a great product. I really like it. I would go get color matched if you can, if they sell Laura Mercier, because the coloring is very, very tricky. Honey, I would think would almost be too dark for me, but yeah, I have that on today mixed with quite a few drops of the Perricone MD, probably 3 drops of the Perricone MD No Bronzer, and as you can see, it is a little bit lighter than my NYX still, and this is a fresh self tan, and I had to use quite a bit of this. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at the color ranges, but other than that, really love this foundation. Another person asked how it compares to the Silk Cream foundation. The Silk Cream foundation was too thick, too heavy for me. It didn't sit well on the skin. I found that it kind of sat on top of the skin and got greasy and oily throughout the day. So the Silk Cream foundation I was not a fan of, but I do really like the Smooth Finish Flawless Fluid foundation. So a little bit different of an outro than usual in my first impressions, but I did want to just kind of give you my tips and tricks for it and compare it to a few of the foundations a lot of you had asked questions about. So I hope you're all doing well, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!